Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the webinar of today, the most comprehensive and user-friendly SPP diagnostic test on the market, featuring the Paraflex 6000 system. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Sam Pakvis. I am the president of Perimed Inc. And the Perimed Inc. office is based in Las Vegas, Nevada. I have nearly 20 years of experience working in the vascular and wound care field diagnostic applications, and I'm proud to say I've been fortunate to work with many of the state-of-the-art hospitals across the United States. For example, the Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Herman Memorial, UCSF, for example. And I've also learned a lot from working closely with key opinion leaders such as Dr. Armstrong, Dr. Mills, Dr. Snyder, and so forth. The agenda of today's webinar, first of all, Perimed, who are we and why do our customers choose Perimed? We'll answer those questions and then we'll move on to skin perfusion pressure, SPP, and PVR, pulse volume recording. We'll talk about the strengths and the benefits of the Paraflex 6000 system, looking at the features, the advanced technology we've incorporated in this equipment. And then we'll focus on the patient side of things, limb salvage, and how we can help improve the patient life quality. And finally, how the Paraflex 6000 system can help saving costs and resources for the society and for clinics. We'll talk about how Perimed works with customers, and then a short summary, and finally, questions and answers at the end of the webinar. And please feel free to enter your questions in the Q&A section in the Zoom interface, and we'll address those questions at the very end. Perimed, the group headquarters are located in Stockholm, Sweden. This is also where the research, development, and manufacturing takes place, which is allowing us to put a high focus on quality equipment production. Perimed is an international privately held company, and we're the world leader in advanced instruments for peripheral vascular diagnosis. In fact, Perimed was the first European company to commercialize laser Doppler for peripheral vascular diagnosis, and we have since been perfecting these techniques over the last 40 years. Perimed's vision is to provide instruments for accurate diagnosis and monitoring of all patients with ischemia in order to save limbs, lives, costs, and reduce human suffering. Why Perimed? The main reasons hospitals choose Perimed are quality and reliability. Reliable instruments providing highly accurate tests. And we can perform a multitude of tests, and the Paraflex 6000 all-in-one assessment approach offer all tests recommended by the global vascular guidelines out of one system. Also, our high level of customer support, from tailored staff training, covering the concepts, theory, and techniques, to our fast response time to all customer inquiries. Skin perfusion pressure, SPP. SPP is a way of measuring non-invasive small vessels, and we screen for wound healing potential, and it helps in determining amputation level. This test is also proven dependable to gauge post-amputation healing potential and to evaluate patients for chronic limb-threatening ischemia, peripheral arterial disease, and also look at the need for further vascular screening. SPP testing can be valuable also in determining if a patient can bear compression therapy in situations with venous ulcers. There are no side effects to this test. Unlike the ankle pressures, the reliability of SPP values is independent of the presence of calcified vessels. SPP is also possible to utilize in situations with minor to moderate edema. And the test can be performed on sites that have thickened skin or slight calluses as well. And for the Perimed system, the only consumable is a double-sided adhesive tape strips. SPP correctly indicates wound healing potential in pressures above 30 millimeters mercury. That's a prediction of healing success. Below 30 millimeters mercury is predicting healing failure and also indicative of chronic limb-threatening ischemia. And SPP values below 50 millimeters mercury also is useful to detect peripheral arterial occlusive disease in hemodialysis patients very accurately. Now we're going to take a look at a short video featuring Perimed's Paraflex 6000 system, the most comprehensive and user-friendly SPP diagnostic test, and we'll have a look at how we can measure multiple levels and multiple sites at each level, as well as seeing the intuitive user interface.
The skin perfusion pressure, SPP, is a microcirculatory blood pressure. SPP is useful for wound healing assessment and amputation level assessment. A probe, either with or without heat, can be used for the SPP assessment. The probe is attached with double-sided adhesive tape. The laser Doppler technique is a sensitive method to assess SPP. The probes can be attached both on the plantar and the dorsal side of the foot. SPP as a test is not affected by minor to moderate edema, and the tests can also be performed on sites with calloused and thickened skin. The blood perfusion is detected by placing the laser Doppler probe under the cuff. Cuffs are color-coded for easy recognition and connected to the corresponding pressure tube. SPP measurements can be taken at multiple sites and levels. The levels are set in the Examination Manager software. SPP and PVR are often done at the same levels. Pressure is applied to the pressure cuff and automatically held for some seconds before linearly deflating. The return of the microcirculatory blood pressure is marked with a pressure flag. Unlike ankle systolic pressures, SPP value reliability is independent of the presence of calcified vessels and can be used as an alternative to TCPO2.
All right, so what we just watched there was how easy to use the Paraflex 6000 system is, how it offers step-by-step guidance for the operators, and how we can perform multi-level tests with multiple SPP sites per level. For example, you can do plantar and dorsal sites, medial and lateral sites at each level. It also offers simultaneous bilateral testing, so you test both limbs at the same time. We offer customizable exam protocols so that the workflow is tailored to the clinic diagnostic needs. And we also have heated probes available to further facilitate these tests. Next, we'll have a look at pulse volume recording, or PVR. PVR measures changes in pressure, which reflects the arterial pulsatility. It's a way of measuring with air plethysmography. This helps localize significant occlusive lesions in the limbs. And unlike ABI or ankle pressure, calcified vessels would not prevent accurate measurements. The Wi-Fi guidelines, wound ischemia and foot infection guidelines, say that if arterial calcification precludes reliable ABI or toe pressure measurements, ischemia should be documented by the use of either TCPO2, SPP, and or PVR. The PVR waveform will show a sign of the arterial disease. In a healthy patient, you'll have quite a bit of character in the wave. You see dicrotic notch, we have good strong amplitude in the waveform, but as the arterial disease worsens, we lose some of that character, the dicrotic notch disappears, and the amplitude of the curve decreases as well. We'll take a quick look here in a video on how this PVR test is performed with the Paraflex 6000 system. Here we're capturing PVR waveforms, and it's as quick as that, and then it's simply just a matter of picking the intervals we want to present on the report. And next slide will show an example of the report we get from the Paraflex 6000 system. Here's what an SPP and PVR exam could look like, where we have our skin perfusion pressures from all the measured sites and levels gathered on one page. The next page will show the PVR waveforms from all the measured levels for easy review. The Paraflex 6000 system strengths and benefits. It's the only system that combines all the tests recommended for a Wi-Fi classification exams. Again, these are the wound ischemia foot infection guidelines from the Society for Vascular Surgery. The system can do TCPO2 or TCOM measurements, ankle pressure, ABIs, toe pressure, TBIs, and as we just watched, the PVR and SPP exams, and it's also possible to perform sigmoid pressures. The Paraflex 6000 system is easy to use. It offers bilateral measurements. We can do simultaneous or parallel testing as well. For example, you can measure TCPO2 at the same time as you're gathering your ABIs, TBIs, and your PVRs. The system offers fast and accurate results, and we do have heated laser Doppler probes available to further facilitate our testing. The Paraflex 6000 system is also capable of connecting with the hospital electronic medical records or electronic health records over the DICOM or HL7 interface. The Paraflex 6000 system can be used to diagnose PAD, peripheral arterial disease, CLTI, chronic limb-threatening ischemia, and diabetic foot. We can assess the severity of macro and microvascular disease. We can now assess wound healing potential. And if it comes to amputation, we can now determine the level of amputation where healing is likely after the cut. The Paraflex 6000 system can also be used to monitor how the patient is responding to ongoing therapy. Another advantage of the Paraflex 6000 system is that it can help in saving limbs, saving lives, and improving patient life quality. In the vascular field, there has been a recent emphasis on limb salvage, and accurate diagnosis is key in this regard. A study in the Journal of Foot and Ankle Research suggests that the 5-year mortality rate for diabetic foot patients with amputations ranges between 46 to 57%. This range depends on the level of amputation, if it's foot level or above the foot levels. Above foot level is 57% on average. The Paraflex 6000 system can also help in reducing cost of care. In 2016, a study published in Endovascular Today showed that the peripheral arterial disease care in the US exceeded $21 billion. By helping healthcare professionals obtain an accurate diagnosis quickly, the patient can be put on an effective treatment pathway faster. Perimed system can also help saving resources and costs for hospitals and clinics. By providing a comprehensive and accurate diagnosis during a single patient visit, we will save the staff time, help freeing up resources like exam rooms in the clinic, and in turn improve the workflow and logistics of the clinic. How Perimed works with customers. We communicate closely with the customer to share information and to determine the diagnostic need. This will help us find a suitable solution, a system configuration that will meet the clinic needs, and also perhaps offer expandability for future needs. Perimed also offers product demonstrations. We do on-site demonstrations, and during these times, we also offer remote demonstrations if visits are not possible. We also have a comprehensive training program to train the staff. This is again something we do on-site or remotely if required. Finally, we have a support agreement option, which is a peace of mind contract. And this includes preventive maintenance. We have retraining or refresher training modules. It includes free software upgrades, and this is a way you can keep your system in tip-top shape throughout the life of the equipment. A quick summary. Today in this webinar, we looked at the skin perfusion pressures performed with the Paraflex 6000 system. Saw the unique possibilities to provide accurate diagnosis and multiple benefits to both your patients and to the hospital clinics. And we also looked at the PVR measurement and how it can help determine location of lesions and signs of calcification buildup. To learn more, visit our website, www.perimed-instruments.com, and please feel free to contact us by email, info@perimed-instruments.com, or by phone. This is to our main office in Las Vegas. It's 702-987-4655. Okay, we will now have a questions and answers. If you haven't already, please post your questions in the Q&A section in the Zoom interface. And also, if you think of a question later on, or if it wasn't addressed in this webinar, you're always welcome to contact us by email and ask your questions at info@perimed-instruments.com. We'll take a few minutes now to address questions. Their question, is the TCOM testing an add-on or is it a part of the whole system? And this comes down to the configuration of the Paraflex 6000 system. It is possible to get a configuration which only includes the skin perfusion pressures and ABI, TBI, and PVR, or you can do a combined configuration which does include the TCOM features as well. So it comes down to the configuration requests. We have a question, why would someone choose SPP over TCPO2? Skin perfusion pressure can be a good alternative or complement to TCPO2 in cases where you have callous skin buildup, or perhaps if you wish to measure on the plantar side of the foot where TCPO2 would normally struggle. Also minor edema, you should be able to use skin perfusion pressure and expect more accurate results compared with TCPO2. Another question, in what setting is the machine most typically located, wound clinic or vascular lab? And I would say it's probably about 50-50 in our experience. We have the system in both of those settings quite prominently. It depends typically on the hospital logistics and other aspects. Question, can the TCOM configuration be added at a later time if the initial setup is for SPP and PVR? And the answer is yes. It's quite easy and simple to add on the TCOM features if you start out with the system using SPP and PVR. Now the question is it easy to move the system around for use in multiple departments? And yes, the system is on a workstation cart and is quite mobile and quite easy to transport from exam room to exam room or from one department to the next. Next question, multiple zones can be done at the same time. How many sensors are available per limb? So we can do one zone or one site on each limb simultaneously. So for example, you can do a lateral ankle SPP measurement on both legs simultaneously. And then following that, you would do a medial ankle SPP measurement, again on both legs simultaneously. So this means that you have two sensors with the system, one for each limb. And then as needed, you move these sensors around from site to site and from level to level. Now the question is, can you use the TCOM in the hyperbaric chamber? Yes, the TCPO2 portion can be used to do in-chamber measurements, no problem. Next question, what is the longevity of the laser cables or laser Doppler probes? Do they need to be replaced at certain intervals? The Paraflex 6000 system has, it's part of the workstation is a cable management arm, and we found that this really helps in securing longevity of not only the laser cables, but the TCPO2 electrodes as well, if that's part of the system. And ultimately, it comes down to how carefully the equipment is cared for. But on average, I would say we don't see these cables being replaced more than maybe at the most every 5 years. And some of our clients are using laser Doppler probes that are well past 10 years of age.